Are you wondering how to make the holidays feel special without running yourself ragged? This episode reveals the mindset and habits that help busy parents create real connection and lasting memories. Hey parents, welcome to Fulfillment Therapy. Do you want to raise your kids better and have a stronger marriage? Are you up late at night researching marriage and parenting tools and self-care tips? Do you start each day hoping for deeper connections and less chaos, but it ends with family arguments and going 12 different directions again? My name's Kendra, wife, mom, therapist, and growth enthusiast. It wasn't until I discovered how to fulfill my unmet needs that I was finally able to show up as my best self as a spouse and parent. I realized that by meeting my needs, I could more fully meet the needs of my family with more energy and less resentment. In this podcast, I teach parents skills like boundary setting, prioritizing personal needs, communication, and claiming ownership. Just like my clients, you'll be shocked by the improvement in your marriage, parenting, and personal life when you focus on fulfilling your important unmet needs. Ready to prioritize yourself so you can quit mentally throat punching people? Then grab those earbuds and head outside, and let's walk and talk. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Kendra Nielsen, and today we're exploring something that hits home this season, turning holidays into moments of real connection without the overwhelm. Or maybe you're a parent in your 30s and 40s and you're juggling grade school, kids, maybe even high school, work, family life, and we often in all of this try to find ways to make holidays feel special yet doable. Do you ever wonder if it's possible to create a meaningful, stress-free holiday experience that can actually boost your mental health and bring your family closer together? We're going to explore how we can actually do this so that this season will be the one to remember. I just want you to imagine this for a minute. Last holiday season, I worked with a client, I'm just going to call her Maria. Magic had vanished from her family's traditions. She had 2 kids in 3rd and 5th grade, and between school events and work deadlines and meal prep, the holidays were always this blur of stress, and I could totally relate. It's been like that in our house on and off as well. When I asked Maria about it, she talked about how she remembered her own childhood holidays as being full of laughter or surprises. But after all these years, she felt like it was just about checking boxes and avoiding those meltdowns. So what was it that turned around for her? There was a simple shift that brought back the joy and strengthened her bonds with her kids and her husband. But we're going to circle back to Maria's breakthrough in just a minute. First, I want to remind you that for just a few days or weeks, I'm trying to remember the date, we have that special discount that is only ever going to be available for this time period, this Christmas season through January 5th. And that will go away. It's the only time we will ever offer 25% off of coaching and courses. Not because they're not worthwhile and we're trying to book a bunch of things. Not that at all. It is simply because it's the first time everything is available during the holidays. And we want to make sure it's all there and available for you for the first time with that big discount when you're already getting so much value. And if you don't remember, we have the 3 business courses if you're looking to start your own podcast and online business. And we have those 3 mental health and wellness courses, which are personal growth, marriage, and parenting. So if you want to take your life to the next level or help others do the same, check those out. Again, that discount will not come back around. So sign up for that. Or else you can also sign up for coaching if you're feeling a little bit stuck, as seasonal affective disorder often comes right after the holidays. And you can do that course at your own speed after the holiday busyness is done. But if you buy it now, you'll be able to have that discount before it disappears. So remember, gift 25 if you go to fulfillmenttherapy.org. All right, now back to the episode. First, I want to look at how we can improve our holidays. thinking about Maria's story again. I know that we all get it. The holidays can feel like this mix of excitement and exhaustion, especially when you have kids at school and they have their own ideas about Santa and school plays and choir performances and band and orchestra and whatever it is. So, how do you find that holiday fulfillment and what is that even? So, experts talk about that as finding this genuine satisfaction and connection during the holiday season without overdoing it. It's something we are actively seeking. It's not about perfect Pinterest setups, although I really wish it was because it looks gorgeous. I do have to say quickly one thing about that. There's a few people I know that are influencers, and that one room looks really amazing, or that one dish, when the rest of the house is completely bombed because of all the things they did to get ready for that one thing. So just remember that when you're looking at Pinterest. The holidays are about creating these realistic moments that recharge us and our families. So today we're going to cover 4 keys to make holidays memorable and connecting as well as manageable. And because I like it so much, we're going to draw from some positive psychology and real life wins. The first thing I want you to do is set some realistic expectations to avoid that holiday overload. So as busy parents, this means defining what memorable really looks like. What is that for you? It can be those small, achievable traditions rather than these big, grand gestures. I have one client, for example, she's a mom in her 40s with a first grader and a fourth grader, and she used to stress about elaborate decorations, but she switched to one family craft night a week, and that helped her realize that memorable doesn't mean flawless. There's a quote from the psychologist, and I butcher his last name every time, so we'll just say it's Mihaly or something. It's his first name. But he talked about flow, remember him? But he said, the best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times, but the moments when we have a purpose. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to read that one more time. The best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times, but the moments when we have a purpose. So what does that mean? That means we can apply what he's saying by picking 2 or 3 traditions that matter most. Like maybe it's a cozy game night, elf on a shelf, and letting the rest go. I, for one, am guilty of this. I like to do all of the things. Often we have foreign exchange students and I want them to get the whole American experience. So I try to do everything. And I do that for several holidays. And I've scaled back over time. And I've been happier as I've scaled back. That even goes for birthday parties. And the same can go for you. Every time I recommend this to clients and we let go of have tos or shoulds, they feel so much more relieved. They feel relief once they finally allow themselves to let go. And when we break that down, and when I say past holidays, were your kids happier or more sad when you did all of these things? What did they really like? And when we whittle it down, it's usually just a few things. So here's our first step. Grab a notebook and list your top 3 holiday must-haves and build from there. All right, to point number 2. Our second point for today is about fostering genuine connections that strengthen relationships. So in that rush of the season, we often forget that connection means quality over quantity. So sharing stories or laughs that build that emotional bond. My client, Maria, started with simple check-ins like asking her kids and her husband about their favorite holiday memory during dinner. And then she turned meals into heartfelt conversations instead of something rushed and disconnected. From positive psychology, these moments are what boost our well-being. Brene Brown says this: connection is why we're here. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. So how do you connect as a family? We make it happen by scheduling one unplugged family hour, like decorating cookies without phones or gingerbread houses or something like that. This creates those lasting ties that reduce that holiday haze. All right, now for the third thing. Let's focus on self-care. I know you hear this a lot, but when we focus on self-care strategies, keep things realistic and prevent burnout. The self-care that I'm talking about means these intentional actions that help us stay present and energized, and not necessarily spa days that we can't fit in, although I would really love that. When I ask my clients about self-care, often they will say stuff like, oh yeah, I look at social media for 30 minutes, I do this, I do that. And I said, when you do those things, do they refuel you? Do they rejuvenate you? And they're often like, not exactly. I get more irritated and my kids interrupt me. So that may not be the best way to refuel. Get intentional about how you can refuel. For example, my client is a dad in his 30s and he has a bunch of elementary school kids. And he built in just 5-minute breaks for those deep breaths, even in the middle of that chaos. So that is simple and it's mindfulness. And I know sometimes we feel like we need this big new secret answer, but that is often what it is. It can just be small things that you're doing intentionally to help regulate that stress. Daniel Goleman is an expert in emotional intelligence, and he put it like this. If your emotional abilities aren't in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, you are not able to manage your distressing emotions. If you can't have empathy and effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are, you're not going to get very far. So we can put this into practice by setting boundaries, especially around the holidays, by limiting holiday shopping to one outing or using a family calendar to share the load so you're not doing it all yourself, so that everyone feels supported. I know a lot of my moms out there that are my clients, they really struggle with that. They feel like they have to do it all themselves. But when I challenge that, they recognize maybe they're putting that on themselves and that's not exactly accurate. All right, now for our fourth point. This is all about infusing creativity and gratitude to make the holidays truly fulfilling. I know you've heard this a million times, but it's worth repeating over and over. It's about gratitude. So gratitude is defined as actively appreciating the good in our lives. And this can transform how we experience the season. And this is backed by science. So my client Maria incorporated a gratitude jar where her family added notes about what made them smile, especially during the holiday season, like a kid's handmade card or a quiet moment with your spouse or the twinkling lights. And it shifted their focus from stress to joy. So they just put that in the middle of their dinner table, decorated it for Christmas, and they would occasionally add things during dinner to keep that mentality. Martin Seligman is a leader in positive psychology, and he said gratitude can make your life happier and more fulfilling. We know this is true. Again, science fact. So we can do this by starting a simple ritual, like sharing one grateful thing before bed, or maybe even before we start eating our dinner meal, whatever you're most likely to be together. And that will build that excitement and that connection without any added pressure. Such a simple thing. Now, as I wrap this up for today, I want to tie it back to Maria's story. So when we set realistic goals and prioritize connections and practice self-care, as well as add in a little bit of that gratitude, we can do what Maria did and turn our holidays from overwhelming to wonderful. Her family ended up with traditions that felt personal and fun, just like she remembered from her past, without being overwhelming. And honestly, we can do the same. So here are the 4 main takeaways for you to remember moving forward. First, focus on 2 or 3 realistic traditions to keep things manageable and memorable. Second, build in those daily connections to strengthen those bonds. And third, use simple self-care to stay grounded even while you are busy. And last but not least, number 4, practice gratitude to shift your mindset and find more joy. Remember, it's about the small and simple things. We don't have to overcomplicate it. These are the things that science tells us through lots of research that will bring peace, that will bring connection, that will alleviate some of that overwhelm during the holidays, all of the things that we're wanting. These are the things that will help turn our holiday season around and make it more fulfilling. All right, my friends, that is all I have for you today. I hope you have an incredible holiday season, and don't forget to use that discount while it is still available. Gift 25 on fulfillmenttherapy.org. Sign up for those courses. And please share these episodes with anyone that you think would benefit. And if you want to leave us a little gift, it always helps if you leave a review on Apple Podcasts, because that's how we get seen and how we can help others thrive. All right, I'll see you back here with a new episode every Monday and Thursday. Until then. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, chances are someone else would too. Would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who's looking for greater family fulfillment? And while you're sharing, tell me what you think about the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It refuels me when I hear this podcast is helping you. No matter what your house or your hair looks like, I'll meet you back here every Monday and Thursday morning for more episodes. Until then.